What's next, Harry?
Next up is David Tennant saying he might return to Doctor Who.
Let's fly through this bit.
Yeah, so David Tennant has basically said he doesn't want to say explicitly that these 60th specials are going to be his last time as a Doctor. He has said, I think it would be disingenuous to imagine that I might never be asked again, because history would indicate that it's always a possibility. So I'm not going to say never, because I don't think anyone would believe me. That doesn't mean I know that I never will, but I suppose until I can't run down a corridor, it's always a possibility. But I promise to have no plans.
Basically saying, I currently have no plans to return, but if they ask me, I'll consider it.
Yeah, and even kind of in lieu of, Patrick Stewart returning as Picard in Star Trek, he said, maybe that should be my goal, to have one last outing as a Doctor at 82. I've got 30 years to wait.
I like the fact it says, until I can't run down the corridor anymore. William Hartnell in The Three Doctors just sat in a chair.
Yeah.
That's all he is.
David could do that. Because let's face it, I feel like when Shooty comes along, Shooty is going to be, officially the face of the show. But for so many people, especially in our generation, the face of Doctor Who is David Tennant,
I was thinking about this earlier. Like, I was thinking about a young David Tennant watching Doctor Who as a kid and idolising the character of, played by Tom Baker, and that being his Doctor. And then for him now, I wonder if he ever does just sit there and goes, I'm now Tom Baker, I'm this generation, because he is.
He is, 100%.
He's New Who's Tom Baker. Like, people associate him with Doctor Who. I remember being a kid and asking my dad about Doctor Who, and he was saying the one he could remember had a hat and a scarf.
Yeah.
And I like to think if I have kids and they're watching Doctor Who, they're like, oh, what do you remember from Doctor Who? Oh, well, when I was your age, Doctor Who was this skinny white dude with amazing hair who had this fantastic coat and wore trainers.
And they say, Daddy, that's still Doctor Who.
That man's still doing it. Yeah. And I'm like, yes, he is.
It's literally look at the 50th, David Tennant came back. Look at the 60th, David Tennant came back. All the promo material has David Tennant in the middle and then also slightly to the right because there's two David Tennant Doctors now. David Tennant is, for all intents and purposes, even during Jodie's era, they kept bringing David back for video games, Big Finish stuff. David Tennant is never going to...
He's a definitive article, isn't he?
Yeah, he's never going to leave the public consciousness as the Doctor. David Tennant is the Doctor for so many people for such a long time.
It's like Sean Connery's James Bond.
Literally,
he did his films and then he came back and did another one. And that's slightly different because it's movies and he only did one more.
I mean, it's the most apt comparison in terms of long-running British institutions. Yeah, James Bond, Doctor Who.